my name is Brianna Brooks.
Naeem Benson.
Raven Brooks.
Chanel Balfour.
Reggie Sherman.
Samantha Washington.
Culture is a learned pattern of behavior and is a way in which a person lives his or her life. It is an integral part of every society and creates a feeling of belongingness and togetherness among the people of that society. Culture encompasses various aspects of communication: attitude, etiquette, beliefs, value, custom, norm, food, art, jewelry, clothing, etc. Every society has a different culture, which gives it an identity and a uniqueness. Of all the people who journeyed to America from foreign lands, the African Americans arrived on our shores naked and in chains. Although we are a foreign people, we have influenced most of America, and in this way we share our culture and our heritage, our history. The African American history, which originated from Africa. The African first arrived here in the United States in the 16th century by European merchant slaves. The African population in America remained tiny until the turn of the 18th century, when Virginians began importing slaves from West Africa at a rate of about 1,000 per year. By that time, slavery had spread throughout the colonies. But on September 23, 1862, Lincoln satisfied the first of the abolitionists' demands that freed the slaves. By the end of the Civil War, brought freedom to nearly 4 million slaves and a great sense of optimism to blacks throughout the United States. Throughout the South, the race became polarized, not just in the realm of politics, but in all areas. States passed laws that legalized the pre-existing custom of keeping blacks and whites apart or segregated. This system advocated a policy of maintaining separate but equal schools, transportation, and housing. For the races, in truth, whites alone benefited from this system. In 1957 came a glimmer of hope. The Eisenhower administration sent to Congress a civil rights bill in its original form. The measure provided for a civil rights commission to investigate abuse against blacks and permitted the Department of Justice to intervene on behalf of those whose rights to vote was denied by Southern officials. Encouraged, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. decided the time was right for a major public demonstration to encourage congressional approval of the Civil Rights Bill. In 1957, the bill was passed. While Dr. Martin Luther King and his supporters pushing it. And with the right to vote, we have become a culture who's true to our religion, because it is what has kept us all this way, our religion in which we practice and study. When it comes to religious traditions, there are a number of religions practiced among the African Americans. However, the most prominent is Protestant Christianity. There are a considerable amount of Muslims in the African American culture that is black. The religious institution of the African Americans are known as the Black Church. There is also a special dress for worship in the Black Church. The African American women mostly wear vibrant dresses and suits, and ornate Sunday hats, sometimes known as crowns. The African American style has a unique identity of its own. The kente cloth is famous from American textile, which has their place now in Western style fashion proudly, including the bow tie and cummerbund. The Black Arts movement saw the traditional African clothing to become popular. Other African American clothing are bright colors, mud cloth, trade beans, and the use of adequate motifs. After a Sunday service at church, African American families gather together and have what is called a soul food meal. On Sundays, which would consist of fried chicken and fish, macaroni and cheese, cornbread, collard green, black-eyed peas, and rice. Also, there's chitlin, which are pig intestines, boiled and battered and fried. These are typical African American cuisines. In parts of the rural South, even today, rabbit, possum, squirrel, and waterfowls are eaten. And after all that soul food, African Americans listen to music. Music is a key element of African American culture. During slavery, black sang Negro spirituals and call and answer songs, while working hard in the fields and on plantations. During the early mid-20th century, African Americans created blues and jazz. Louis Armstrong and B.B. King were among two of the famous blues and jazz musicians. Music created rhythm and blues and rap song as a setting comfort to the soul. In my conclusion, the African American culture has come a long way, from being in chains to being one of the most powerful people in America, such as our 44th and President Barack Obama II, the first African American to hold this office. And I don't mean no harm. You finished? Culture is a learned pattern of behavior and is a way in which a person lives his or her life. It is an integral part of every society and creates a feeling of belonging and togetherness among the people of that society. Culture encompasses various aspects of communication: attitude, etiquette, beliefs, value, custom, norm, food, art, jewelry, clothing styles, etc. Every society has a different culture, which gives it an identity and its uniqueness. Of all the people who journeyed to America from foreign lands, the African Americans arrived here on our shores, naked and in chains. Although we are a foreign people, we have influenced most of America. In this sense, we share our culture and our history. The African American history, which originated from Africa. Our Africans first arrived here in the 16th century by European slave merchants. The African population in America remained tiny until the turn of the 18th century,